rights now. You've got a sound mind now. And it's the power of one. And Rosa Parks knew the power of one. And she wasn't waiting for two to join her. She wasn't waiting for three. She knew she was right. She knew Yahweh was right. She had a sound mind. And it is the power of one. You want to make sure your boss never asks you to work on Shabbat? You walk in and tell him, I'm going to trust Yahweh. I'm going to trust the Father. If you have to fire me, you do what you have to do, but I'm going to do what I have to do.
Amen.
And I think it was Sister Celia who came up here and gave us her testimony. And before she takes a job, now you listen good. Before she takes a job, she has an affidavit signed from her former employer that she cannot be allowed to work on Shabbat. And she interviews the employer and says, if you are going to force me to work on Shabbat, I cannot work here. And if you do hire me, don't you dare give me a hard time next week and next month. Keep this paper on file and stick it in your file. And when my employer changes or my manager changes, all they got to do is pull out that paper from the file and they'll see that Sister Celia doesn't do no work on Shabbat.
Amen.
Is that the way you approach your job? Well, if you do, then you got the power of one. When are we going to start being the head and not the tail? When are we going to start hiring our boss and determine if we're going to work for him based on, will he allow us the freedom to be a child of Yahweh and keep the Shabbat and the Moedim? You think that's the only job Yahweh can give you? He can give you 20 jobs. He's waiting for you to come into the inheritance and the understanding and to grasp and comprehend the principle of a spirit-filled Talmud in the power of one.
Amen. Amen.
When Abraham was called to leave Ur of the Chaldees, he was called alone. His father didn't go with him. His ancestors didn't go with him. One single life submitted to Yeshua that will not tolerate hate, that will not tolerate evil, violence, injustice, is a powerful tool in the hands of Yahweh. The power of one is the majority of one when you have a sound mind, when you have a search for equality, when you have the power of nonviolent struggle, when you have the power of conviction, when you have the power of humility. The power of one cannot be defeated.
Hallelujah.
We got to stop playing with sin. There's not a person in this room that doesn't want to sin like the heathen. We all do. Don't tell me you don't enjoy sex. Don't tell me you don't enjoy drugs. Don't tell me you don't enjoy food, because you're lying to me, and stop lying to yourself. We all enjoy it. But the blessing is in taking every thought captive and bringing it into the obedience and the authority of Messiah Yeshua, and denying ourselves, denying our flesh, is the power of victory and majority of one. And then you are called alone, but if you stand alone, it's going to be a very short time till you're fruitful and increase. Miss Parks started alone, but it wasn't but a couple of weeks till Dr. King and Ralph Abernathy and a couple of other 1,000 folks joined, and before you knew it, the entire city of Montgomery, Alabama wasn't riding the buses. Even white folks stopped riding the buses.
Amen.
See, when Yahweh calls you to take a stand for righteousness, not for what you want, it's got to be a righteous stand. Something that's worthy, something that's eternal, something that's pure, something that's not defiled, something that Yahweh himself through his son Yeshua would have done or had already done. And when you do that, you're not going to be alone for long. Yahweh is going to send troops. Yahweh is going to send reinforcements. Yahweh is going to send the cavalry. See, Rosa Parks had the luxury of getting out of the way because Yahweh sent the cavalry. I know what I'm talking about. But when you start out, you've got to understand the power of one. One. Can I pick on you? Yes. Okay. The healer came to me. I feel Yahweh wants me to bring my video camera. Remember? Oh, I don't know. You got a toy? Go play with it. I don't know. Go ahead. And she started filming and taping, but I didn't know it's the power of one, the power of vision, the power of these things. And before you knew it, now people around the world are secretly not even paying for it. Some bozo in New Zealand gets one a videotape, and they pay like $60 for the video club, and then they go around making copies, and they don't bother telling you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna put coals of fire on their head and let Yahweh deal with them. But anyway, my tapes getting passed around all over the world, and congregations, home fellowships, and they study the Shabbat messages every week. Why? Because the power of one. One woman started taking pictures of my congregation, and I didn't get in Yahweh's way. I said, Yahweh, if this woman wants to take pictures, let her take pictures. Right? And today we have an international video ministry. The power of one. Anyone with Yeshua is not a minority. Some of you folks got to grasp that. You've got to understand that. You've got to comprehend that. You've got to gravitate toward that. One person in Yeshua, in victory, in blood, in faith, in Torah, who is walking the walk and talking the talk, is a majority. Listen, I'm going to shock you. Turn to your neighbor and say, shock time. Turn to your neighbor and say, time to shock. Shock time.
Shock time.
There is no, it's an oxymoron. There is no such thing as a minority in Yahshua. Yeah, brother, you know, I'm from the Jews. No, man. That's a slave mentality. There is no such thing as a minority in Yeshua. You were Jewish, you were a minority, you were this, but now you're Israel. That's all part of the sound mind process. Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12, 1 and 2, that you may prove what is the good, acceptable, and perfect will of Yahweh.
Amen.
Have your mind renewed. How many minorities live as minorities? We've got to build the inner city, and we've got to build the inner this, and we've got to take care of our own. Oh my goodness, you know something? Rosa Parks didn't get into all those programs. She knew what she was called to do. She did it, and she was called alone, but pretty soon she was being increased. Pretty soon she was being fruitful. Pretty soon she was being multiplied. And before you knew it, she birthed the civil rights movement and enjoyed the rest of her life as a free, equal citizen of these here United States. Because you'll start alone, but you won't be alone for long.
Amen.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 7. The power of reformation. Go with me to Micha. Micha. Get a page, please. Shout it out. Micha. Como Micha Mocha. Micha, please. Somebody. Micha. Thank you. Page number 546. Micah. Chapter 6, verse 8. Micah chapter 6, verse 8. He has shown you, O Ish, what is told. What does Yahweh require of you? See, can we talk? Most of us don't have a clue. Well, I'm a Sabbath keeper. Whoop-de-doo and haywire to the hay. Well, Rabbi, I've been to all those churches and praised the Yahweh. Yeah, I'm not saying Lord anymore. I'm saying Yahweh, and I'm in the truth, and blah, 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 blah. What does Yahweh require of you? See, once you answer that question, you can do a Rosa Parks. You can find an area of darkness and be light. You can find an area of injustice and be tzedakah. You can find a seed of indignity and turn it into a seed of blessing. You've got to know your purpose on this earth. When are we going to stop running around in circles? Yahweh has birthed you in the earth for a specific reason, a specific calling, and you've got to ask yourself in Micah 6:8, like Rosa Parks, what does Yahweh require of me? It may be a small act of civil disobedience that can bring a nation to its knees, because 1 Corinthians 1 says, he has chosen the weak to embarrass the things of might and nobility. Are you weak? Are you alone? You're just the person Yahweh is looking for. You're single, you want to serve Yahweh without the burden of marriage. You're just the person Yahweh is looking for. Yeah, marriage can be a blessing, but it can also be a burden. We see through Rosa Parks' struggle for equality, Yahweh's desire for all his children and all of his people to seek justice. Let's continue in verse 8. What does Yahweh require of you? But to do tzedakah, to love rachamim, and to have a humble halakha with your Elohim. To do tzedakah, to love rachamim, and to have a humble halakha. Rosa Parks had a humble halakha. She had a sound mind before she was called to the battle. When she got called, she was ready to take her seat in history. Somebody, you've got to be called before the battle begins, darling, because once the battle begins, it's not a time to put on the armor. Now's the time to put on the armor of Yahweh. Now's the time to prepare. Now's the time to get ready.
Now's the time. Amen.
Why do we meet for Sukkot? To get ready for the kingdom. Why do we meet for Pesach? To rehearse for the kingdom. Why do we get together on Yom Teruah? Because we're putting on the armor, we're staying ready, we're staying alert, because one day the Shofar HaGadol will sound, and Yeshua himself will descend from the Shamayim with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and the dead in Mashiach will rise, and we who are alive will be caught up to meet them in the air, and so shall we ever be with Yeshua. Wherefore, comfort one another with these words. The whole purpose of Shabbat is to be ready, to be alert, to be refined for victory and overcome. What does Yahweh require of you, O men? To walk humbly, she sure did walk humbly. To love rachamim, mercy, she sure did. And to love tzedakah, but to do, if you love mercy, if you are walking humbly with Yahweh, if you're alone and ready to serve Him, then you must ask Yahweh the final piece of the puzzle. Turn to your neighbor and say, the final puzzle piece.
Final puzzle.
The final puzzle piece is, what tzedakah do I do? Because emunah without mitzvot is dead. I'm spirit-filled. I have Shabbat. I have Moedim. What are you going to do with that? There's plenty of indignity and unrighteousness in this world. Right around your corner, right in your neighborhood. Take a stand. Throw the drug dealers out. Get rid of the pimps. Get rid of the whoremongers. Stand with a sign. Do something. You're walking humbly. You're full of rachamim. That's good. Now I ask Yahweh, what do I do? What tzedakah do I do? Baruch Hashem Yahweh. We see at her memorial service that she was a unifier. We see the call for unity. We see that when you act humbly with Yahweh, and you do righteousness, even when you're called to do it alone, it brings about the power of reformation. Write it down. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The power of reformation. You can reform your world because you've got to have the sound mind that Rosa Parks had. You have the same Yahweh, don't you? You have the same Ruach, don't you? You have the same authority, don't you? Then find an indecency, find an indignity, find an injustice, and do something about it, and your name will be also added to the Hall of Fame of Faith. Everybody in the Hall of Fame of Faith didn't just know about righteousness, didn't just study righteousness, they performed their righteousness, and that act of performance led to an act of reformation. Rosa Parks was a reformer. She brought reformation. Martin Luther was a reformer. He says, there is no purgatory. We're not giving money to pull relatives out of purgatory. We're not kissing the Pope's finger, or his pajamas. We're doing none of the above.
Amen.
So that Martin Luther became a reformer. How? Because he walked humbly with Yahweh. This is true. He loved Rachamim. This is true. But he sought for an opportunity to do tzedakah. You know why a lot of people hate Rabbi Moshe? Because I name the anti-missionaries. I name them by name. I name them by phone number. I tell you, this guy is teaching you not to believe the book of Hebrews. His name is so-and-so. This guy is teaching you that Brit Hadashah is not inspired. His name is so-and-so. Watch it. I'm protecting the flock of Yahweh, and therefore my name is cursed. That's okay in certain quarters. In others, it's blessed. I don't care. I know the power of a sound mind. I know the power of equality. I know the power of nonviolent struggle. I know the power of conviction. You and I need to know the power of humility, the power of one, because if you do these things, you will see the power of reformation. Next, number 8, the power of a Kadosh vision. Go with me to Mishle. Mishle, is anyone enjoying?
Amen. Amen.
Let's try it again. Is anyone enjoying?
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Meaning praise the name of Yahweh. When the church says hallelujah, they're saying praise Yah. They just don't know it. It's up to you to teach them. Hallelujah means praise Yah. Mishle 29 and 18. Mishle, Proverbos, and Proverbios. In case I pronounce the first two wrong. Proverbios 29, 18. Where there is no vision, the people, in this case Rosa Parks people, perish. Where were all the African American leaders before her? There were some, but their names are not written in the Hall of Fame of Faith. They didn't receive their children back from the dead. It was a humble woman, a seamstress from Alabama, who said, I'm not getting up, I'm tired of being tired. Rosa Parks had the power of vision. Listen, where there is no vision, people, any people, perish. But notice, he who guards the Torah, happy is he. Can we talk? You know how the church teaches it? Get ready, get ready.
Right. You ain't right.
I'm speaking to somebody here. I don't know who I'm speaking to, but I know I come from Tampa Bay, and I'm speaking to somebody here. $66.66. $66 and... But isn't it funny, all these folks who talk about vision, and they quote this, without a vision, the people perish. They stop. They stop. Read the whole verse. Read the whole verse.
Oh, man.
Hallelujah.
Where there is no vision, the people perish. But he that guards the Torah, happy is he. See, Rosa Parks guarded the Torah of Yahweh because the Torah of man was unjust. She guarded the Torah. It is written. Acts 17:26. It is written, Yahweh hath from one blood made all races, all manner, all nationalities of people. She guarded that Torah. Hello? And she stepped out alone, and Yahweh goes, you won't be alone for long. I'll increase you, multiply you, and you'll be fruitful. These are lessons we can learn from this little Alabama. You know, little Alabama woman, if you saw her today, if she was here with us today, she probably her neck probably wouldn't even come up to the top of the pew. A little petite woman changed the nation, a superpower, where presidents and senators and governors had to admit that they were on the wrong side of the law. Where there is no vision, people perish. But he who guards the Torah, happy is he. Rosa Parks taught us the power of a kadosh vision. What does it mean, he who keeps the Torah? It's not just a vision. I have a vision to have drugs, sex, and rock and roll. Yahweh's not going to bless that vision. It's got to be a kadosh vision. You know why Rosa Parks was blessed? Her vision was the kadosh heartbeat of the Father. You understand what I'm saying? It can't just be any vision. Well, I have a vision. Is it kadosh? Is it from Yahweh? Is it from His throne? Does it bring men together? Does it bring equality in the house of brotherhood of the Kiddushim? Or does it separate men and rebuild walls and partitions? Those folks keep teaching the Jew and Gentile. Jew and Gentile, one in Mashiach. You're so full of baloney. You ought to buy a half-pound of boar's heads. How can a Jew and a Gentile be one in Messiah when the very word Gentile means pagan? Oh, you mean nation? Yeah. You mean Jews have been saved out of the house of Judah, and the other believers have been saved and rescued from the nations. Now you're talking. None of those things are saved Gentile any more than military intelligence, or clean pig, or honest fidelity President Clinton. There's no such thing. It's an oxymoron. Or an honest politician. I better move on. Time to move on.
So that they can take your
Without a vision, a kadosh vision, turn to your neighbor and say kadosh vision. Let's try that again. Kadosh vision.
Kadosh vision.
People will perish into destruction and abuse. Rosa Parks, listen, demonstrated the power of a nation that has a vision of equality and justice for all its citizens. She used Yahweh's Torah of moral decency to prevail against man's Torah of indecency. She taught us the concept of Yovel, Jubilee Yovel, that nation can correct itself from the oppression by declaring the Torah principle of Yovel throughout the land, even the Southland. She was a woman with a shofar in the spirit, but if she was just waiting for someone to show her what a shofar is, she would have blown it, because she did blow it in the spirit. She proclaimed Yovel, Jubilee, to this nation, and she said, I have a kadosh vision. I have a kadosh vision. And then Dr. King became her mouthpiece to outline her kadosh vision. And the great I Have a Dream speech. What was that all about? It was, I have a vision, I have a dream. But it wasn't Dr. King's dream, it was the Leviticus 26 dream. Proclaim Yovel throughout the land. Not just in the north, not just in certain segments of society. Proclaim Yovel throughout the land. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. She used the power of a Kadosh vision to proclaim Yovel throughout the land. I'm going to have to close with this because cold food doesn't go down well, but I'm not happy about closing. But I'm going to close anyway, but I'm not really happy about closing. But I'm going to close anyway. Because cold food doesn't go down well. But I'm not happy about closing. I'll be honest with you.
Number 3.
But I'm going to close anyway.
Part 3.
Ephraim 11:35. Ephraim, yes. But I have so many other things I want to share with you on different messages, like the Mashiach being called and identified as Ephraim, the Star of David attack. How many got the Star of David attack in their mailbox this week? Goodbye, honey, and good morning. Does that blow you away? How about the deeds and the doctrine of the Nicolaitans? That's what I do during the week. I just seek Yahweh and put together these teachings. And we just hit the send button and it goes out to 7,000 people. Check that out, man. 7,000. I mean, you know, let those pornographers use the internet for pornography. But when I click a button, 7,000 people get the word. What a blessing.
Amen.
What a blessing.
Amen.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Ephraim